Boom, welcome back to the TNEC cast. Your man Shuff with the man, the weapon K. I hope we get to talk about something that we talked about today because I just love talking about chasing greatness. But anyway, we are the TNEC. We are the TNEC cast, like I always like to say. Again, thank you everybody for riding along with the journey. The housekeeping, like, comment, subscribe. I keep saying this because it's true. We've been so much better about responding to the comments. So thank you to everybody, especially to my little brother Alan and to Murph. They're always tapping in and giving us some stuff to talk about. So we appreciate you guys. So, Mr. K, how are you feeling, brother?
I woke up this morning. God is good. So today we're going to be talking about training variety. So this is rather changing your rep scheme, exercise selection, exercise order. Should you be changing your exercises for the fun of it? I caught myself early, right? We're only like 20
Yeah,
seconds
because
in.
you was wilding.
Yeah. For the fun of it. And we're gonna go down that rabbit hole, give our 2 cents, and yeah, let's kick it off. What you got?
Cool. All right. So the way we usually like to, I mean, if you're new to the program, the way we usually like to do, I'll kind of attack it from the coaching side, and Kay will, attack it from the athlete side. So for me, I've learned over time that consistency is key. Now, I know that when I got into training, yes. However, consistency is key in terms of your training frequency and changing up or your training variety. So you shouldn't be changing exercises every other week or even worse, every week, but you shouldn't be changing exercises every other week. The only time I say that is if you are starting a new program and your coach doesn't really know, or you don't know what equipment your gym has and things like that. So you're kind of changing things up due to, oh, I can't do a 45-degree leg press because this gym doesn't have one. So you try to find something to replace it, things of that nature. But when all things are copacetic and you have your routine down, you need to, at least my opinion. Now, look, most people will agree with me. They might change the time frames up a little bit, minimum 4 to 6 weeks with the same exercises. Why do I say it like that? Because you have to start to gain some kind of mastery for those exercises to be effective. If you're constantly changing them up, especially if you're a newbie, you're going to get what we call newbie gains because you haven't done anything for 2, 3, 4, 5 years or never before. So your body's going to react, just on that new stimulus. So now you think, oh, well, this crap program, no offense to people that write programs like that, but this crap program works when it really doesn't. So the problem, becomes you have this in your mind that, okay, I can do this in perpetuity. Now you get 6, 9 months, 12 months into it, and you're not really seeing any changes. You're not, seeing any gains in the gains. And you're like, well, what's going on? And that's usually why, because you're changing up so much, your body adapts to the change. Now, what most solid and above trainers are doing, they have you doing the same exercises, and where the changes happen are in rep range, tempo, and things like that. So that way you get that mastery. So things that Kay and I have talked about before, we're not doing anything fancy. We're not like, what's my man McKinnon or whatever that dude is that be benching bleachers. The guy that be doing all that crazy stuff.
That's his name. Okay, yeah, I
Yeah,
see it. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, yeah. He's making money off it, so good for him. But I say that to say, most people that are successful either in bodybuilding or in the gym, if you notice, they are sticking to the basics, mainly compound moves. The accessory moves are for basically what they're trying to do. They want somebody wants better arms. Are going to put some curl variations in there. So with all that being said, when is it time to switch? So I'll put somebody on 4 to 6 weeks, see how their body's developing, and I'll ask the client or the athlete, hey, what do you want to look better? What do what kind of is important to you? Because I'm not going to sit there and give you 3 shoulder days when you don't care how your shoulders look. Now, bodybuilding is a little bit different because we need symmetry. So we're just worried about, okay, what's lacking, what's strong, and let's, trying to bring some balance. But on the lifestyle side, some people say, man, I was going to be able to walk with my shirt off on the beach. A guy says that I want to have, so we create the program to that. And that's where we start adding the variations in. well, I would like to see my arms look a little bit better in a shirt. Nothing wrong with saying that. A woman can say that too. We'll go on the women's side. When they wave, this is something I hear about. They only want their hand to wave. They don't want the little giblet under their arm waving. So now we start working on tricep exercises. Nutrition still number one, but then we start working on tricep exercises. We start putting the variations in there because now with these variations, I'm looking at your strength level. Because if your strength level is still, I call it beginner, there's certain exercises that won't be effective for you. So I'm not going to sit there and have you do, for example, I will call skull crushers at least an intermediate exercise. If you're a beginner, not saying you can't do it, but it won't be quite as effective because you're not going to be able to get yourself into position to maximize that move. You need to build up a basic amount of strength to be able to do that move properly. So that's another thing. Like when we're going through and making variations to a program, those are the things. Look, there's a lot of factors. I'm not going to try to go into every single factor because we don't have time for that. But these are some of the different factors that we're looking at. So if you're somebody that's one of our athletes, or you're just somebody, you have another coach and you see a change, usually that change is not going to be a lot. Sometimes, and then the other thing is at the heart of your program and with your variation, progressive overload needs to be at the heart of it. So again, progressive overload can manifest, heavier weight, tempo, more reps, more sets, a lot of different ways that as long as you're progressively doing more. So that's part of that's part of the variation scheme. So okay, in your training, because I know you have a slight, I won't say unique training method, but I would say your training method is very hyper focused. Is that fair?
Hyper specific.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's run with it because I've looked over it like so many times of just like, okay, what can I do better? How can I optimize this better? Now,
Mm-hmm.
I do my own training. I've always done my own training. Training is my first love, and I take great pride in the resources like the John Jewis, the Joe Bennett's, and the Jordan Peters, and all those guys because they taught me literally everything. So whenever I'm building my split, the first thing I'm thinking about is how hard can I go in this session right here so I can hit it again in like 5 days. Some people like to do like the push pull legs. It's like push pull legs rest and then push pull legs and then push pull legs. That one rest day. I don't like training that way because like I don't want to do like one tricep exercise. I want to hit two. Right? Sure, you got like a push A, push B, but I don't enjoy that. And plus, like the way I want to train legs, like I can't train legs like on that fourth day again. Like that's not happening. So, and this is where learning your body and talking to your coach and all that plays a part into it. Because whenever they're designing this split, they're saying, okay, you thrash your legs and you can't hit legs in 5 days. Okay, cool. And you enjoy that. That's the biggest thing. Because if you enjoy, that's the number one thing with anything bodybuilding related. Sure, there's some shit sandwiches that you're gonna have to eat. I'm sorry, that's my last one. But as long as you enjoy it, why would you give a client potatoes if they don't like potatoes? And there's literally a plethora of different carb sources they could eat. That just shows like ignorance as a coach. Like even if like, oh, you're in peak week, you have to eat potatoes. It's like find a new coach, brother. That man is lost in the sauce. So find what you enjoy. High volume. If you like doing like 20 sets of each thing, whatever, go for it. You enjoy it. Is it going to be optimal? No. HIIT training, like the Dorian Yates, you get your top set, back off set. Is it optimized? Not at the most. Is it enjoyable? Yeah, go for it, bro. Like, and then you find your groove. You talked about I was looking for a pen. I don't know if you saw, but I was looking for a pen.
Yeah, so I was
Oh man. Oh no, it's gone forever. But you said progressive overload. And yes, I really like that. But I like to use the word, it's tomato, progressive overstimulus. Now, what's the fucking... Oh!
What's going on with you, man? Slipping. Slipping.
What is the difference, Coop? Alright, the difference is progressive overload, by definition, it just seems like the reps, the sets, the weight, load, right? Progressive overstimulus is what is driving muscle hypertrophy because you're stimulating the muscle. Tomato, once again, this isn't like something I'm pulling out of my butt, right? So this is in regards to like, drop sets, actually contracting the muscle and not moving the weight from point A to point B. That is something that I learned Wednesday of just like actually like contracting the muscle. Mm-hmm. And my pumps have been stupid. Because it's like, yeah, like I can bench all day, you know what I mean? But when you focus on bringing that chest up and having a little bit of body English into it, that's when I was like, oh, now this is training.
It's different.
Right? And it's different. It's totally different. But it all comes with experience and field time. You have to go inside the gym to come to this conclusion of, okay, this doesn't work for me and this does.
Yep. Yeah, because you gotta bump your head. I mean, that's really what it is.
What did you say? Exercise. Yeah, you was like exercise. Mastery. There it goes. So, I just have a different take on this one. Whenever we talk about mastery of a movement, I'm thinking, because like there's like Dr. Mike Israetel, ever heard of him? Mm-hmm. He's a hypertrophy guy. And he was like, yeah, like you have to stick it in there for 4 to 6 weeks and master the movement. And it's like, yeah, like fantastic. However, like let's talk about like a squat. Let's talk about a hack squat and a free bar squat. Can you go into the gym and do a hack squat? Right? Like you can go into the gym and do a hack squat. Like that's like, Isaac, go do a hack squat. Okay, cool. Yep. You can do a free bar squat. Right? No issues. Just go in there, knock it out. Did you forget how to do it? No. So that's like where my thing with like mastery of a movement and why you stick it in. Beginners is different because of that mind muscle connection. That's the only thing where I'm just like, okay, like I don't do like sets of 6, like do sets of like 10 to 20. Not for like the more work I get toned, like no, so you get more exposure to actually flexing the muscle and contracting the muscle. And go with that. But like whenever you like, okay, I know what I'm doing in the gym, and you're just like, I don't feel like free bar squatting today, my back is on fire, my hips don't feel right, but I haven't touched a hack squat in like 6 months. I would have to learn it again. It's just like, my bro, do you eat crayons? Like, it's not that deep. Like, it's not that deep, and I don't think anyone.
So let me ask you this: Kyrie in 2022, can he perform a squat better than Kyrie in 2019? Mm-hmm. You're young enough that you shouldn't have no stuff like that.
And I don't even. And that's crazy because on my deployment I free bar squatted because that was the only thing we really had. We didn't have a hack squat, and I came back and I had the hack squat again. That's my love right there. And then I went to go train my brother-in-law, and we free bar squatted because he's a power lifter. And my squat actually went up. Like, it was like 315 max to, I hit 315 for 17. Because the profile is the same. The profile, right. Like, you know what I mean? You just have a little bit more assistance on the hack squat with bracing and all that good stuff. But you're still working out your quads. You're still working out your glutes. So don't get like, hey, if all the squat racks are taken and the hack squat is screaming your name, take it.
Do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do. So this is what I like about this kind of, conversation, because now it leads to, I don't want to say the definition of mastery, because that's, because you might get a perfect rep or something like that, but somebody else, there's nobody's ever going to all say, okay, that's a perfect rep, I'm not going to go that route. But when we're talking about mastery, what we're talking about is getting better over time. That's also part of progressive overload,
Mm.
because now we talked about the beginner, somebody that's just starting out doing squats, squats, since we're talking about squats, starting doing squats, their squat looks more like a good morning, or they're not even getting to parallel, all these different things. So you're not getting as much out of the exercise.
Mm-hmm.
So the more you're able to do, the better your form gets, the better you get at it. Now we can, as a coach, now I can ask more out of you. It's
Mm.
like I'm there with you and I see you're squatting, you're 5'10", 170-pound person, right? I'm not gonna just automatically, I've never seen you squat before. First I'm gonna have to get on the bar to see what your form looks like. Because if you're, going like, doing some craziness, yeah, we just working with the bar for this session. But you look like you have some sense. First thing I'm going to do now, as long as you're not too heavy, I'm gonna put your body weight on there and see what you do with that.
Mm-hmm.
See if your form completely changes, because that's going to be the basis of how I structure your program, weight wise and things like that. So with that being said, that person, as they're getting better, the more we can require of them. That's part of progressive overload.
Or you can take away work as
Mm-hmm.
well, because you can have
Mm-hmm.
like Nick Walker, right? He's like a two set, like the top set back off set, because they can actually make those sets count.
Mm-hmm.
Where the beginner, like, that's where it's like, yeah, like, go get field time. That's the one thing, like,
Yep.
intensely, like, learn it. But like, I wouldn't say top set back off set to a beginner, because they can't do it like I can. They can't do it like you can, of actually,
Mm-hmm.
like, contracting the muscle and getting
Yep.
something out of it and squeezing and empty the tank. So it's like, the more advanced you get, the less work on
You have
paper that you can do,
it.
potentially.
This is good because it looks like that. Because
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you, because it looks like that. Because, for example, so what I did today, I did what I call tempo drop sets. So I did heavier weight at tempo, and then I did, when I dropped down in weight, I did that back at regular.
Mm-hmm.
But I was doing it still at, I'll say doing it at medium speed, because it was weights that I could have just thrown around, but it was all about contracting that muscle. And now, since I just did it, look, if any of you done tempo, like real tempo work, it hurts. It hurts because you got to count. It's not when you're counting, like if you got 5 count down, 5 count up, that hurts. And I do it for real. I don't do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, get down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now when you do that drop set and you're going to a lighter weight, you feel it more. You feel more
Mm-hmm.
of a contraction. Now this is where, piggybacking off what we're talking about, where you got to get better in order to do that effectively. Because look, at the end of the day, anybody can do anything in the gym, minus weight wise, technically. Yeah, you might not be doing it right. You might end up getting hurt. You might end up on Gym Fail Nation. But what we're saying is we're talking about the effectiveness. That's why. So, for example, I add that in because I'm getting close. I'm getting close to showtime, so I'm changing up. Just these little different things that kind of, I just want to squeeze a little more out, squeeze a little more out. So, but that's effective. So that's, I think, the key word we got to talk effective variations. Why are
Mm.
you doing it? Are you doing it because you're bored? Because if you're bored, I can understand that, but you can't be bored after 2 weeks, because that shows you have a discipline problem. I hate to say that to you, but you know, from my end, you can't look, young Padawan. You can't get bored after 2 weeks.
I understand. I agree with you of just like, hey, bro, like, stick to the damn plan for like people like me and you. But this is
Mm-hmm.
something that I learned, especially like talking to you and just like handling clients and stuff like that. It's just like, if I can cater to you and serve you in a way to be like, yeah, I'm tired of eating rice, I want to switch it up, then I will, especially if you're not a competitor.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's
Mm-hmm.
one of the things I think, even in the gym, where it's just like, okay, cool, you're just not having fun with this program and it's been 2 days. It's like, all right, cool. Especially as like a lifestyle client. I don't, bro, do you? Because at the end of the day, it's really just like, I want bigger arms. I want a bigger chest. I want to like walk into parent teacher conferences like a stud, and that's easy. You don't have to require much to get there. So it's just like cool. All right, cool. I mean, we can change up a variation of something. Why not? Let's see what happens. But competition, oh yeah, man, like that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable.
But so now I'm gonna bring it back to the lifestyle side. So even on lifestyle, most of the people on the lifestyle side have a discipline issue. Mm-hmm. This is what it is. So that's where we're trying to help instill discipline in them. Now, I'm not saying like be a drill sergeant to the degree of if you only going to feed, and I know you're just using that as an example, if you're only going to feed a lifestyle client rice, they're going to quit. That is what it is. Yeah. And you also suck as a coach. If you don't know anything about the rice, to tell them. So one of the things I've learned, you have to be smart, but you have to give a certain amount of variety. Mm-hmm. Just enough, because it's just like I always use the clothes analogy. We all good and damn well know we have enough clothes in our closet, but you feel like you don't got nothing to wear. That's the same thing that happens with food. You have, if you give somebody 15 carb source choices, they're gonna be overwhelmed, and they're not gonna be. Now you give them 2 or 3 or 3 to 5, it's a little bit easier. Yeah. Now you're helping to manage it for them. But that's where, variation is okay. So now I'll give you 5 choices, and after 6 weeks, coach, I can't, you giving me 6 weeks? Cool. All right. What's something that you like? What's something that you would, let's make it work into your plan. And that's why I'll always, again, if somebody starts telling me they're getting bored, especially if it's inside of 2 weeks, that's where I start I don't say the push and the pull, but that's where I start telling them, this is where you have I put the mirror up to their face. This is where you usually have an issue. You're not bored. You're just hungry. I'm hungry right now. I'm starving. I'm starving. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I know what I got to do. Now, granted, we're not talking about that's not lifestyle side. But even on the lifestyle side, it really all goes back to instilling discipline. And this is where, to bring it back to to the main topic, a variation, you got to earn that true variation. You got to show that you have the capability, because at the end of the day, when you hire us as coaches, we have a responsibility to make sure you hit certain goals and certain metrics in a certain time frame. So if I'm just going to respond to every time that you're bored, I'm not doing my job. So, but the thing is, so if after 2 weeks you tell me that you're bored, I'm not going to delegitimize what you're thinking or what you're feeling. We're going to address it. We're going to see if you are really bored, and then once we figure it out, it's going to be like, all right, I need you to give me 4 more weeks. Give me 4 more weeks. And then it's like, you really want to add Ezekiel bread to your plan? You want to be able to do that? So you want to be able to have a nice almond butter and jelly sandwich in part of your plan? Give me 4 weeks. Stay consistent for 4 more weeks. Compromise.
Yeah, fair, right? It's in the middle ground.
Now I want an almond butter and jelly sandwich. Shit.
Oh, man.
I was doing so good for so
long. My bad, dog. I'm just a bad influence. I'm sorry. I think at the end of the day, it's you have to be self-aware if it's a discipline problem or not just a fun thing for you to do. So if like training, if you want to like me, I have like 3 different gym memberships, and I have a Gold membership, so I can go to any Golds I want. And obviously, like this, certain movements are going to have to be just different.
Yep.
And that's like okay, but in my plan, I know like this movement pattern is always going to be that second movement, like no matter what. So if the profile might change. Whenever I say profile, it's just like the machine might change. It might feel like a dumbbell row to a machine row. Like that would still the same profile, but just a different variation.
Yep.
And obviously, like, just train hard. That's my philosophy. Just go in there and train hard.
No, that's good, because real quick, because like, so I've trained a few flight attendants. And what I do is I create them dumbbell-only workouts. Mm-hmm. Because with so much traveling, either staying in most hotels, especially nowadays, have dumbbells. And guess what? If they do have a gym, guess what? Gyms have dumbbells. Mm-hmm. So they don't have to This is a situation where they don't have to vary, because what happens, you put all these different things that are typically in a gym, and they stay at a hotel that doesn't have it, and then
Yeah.
that's where people start to feel defeated and things like that. This way, there's no, like, we've given you the ammo, say, hey, no matter where you go, you'll be able to, to do that. But I always like, because you had talked, I don't know if it was in the last couple 3 weeks, you actually talked about that with you in the program, and knowing that no matter what gym I'm at, that second movement is going to be some kind of row.
Yeah.
You know, third move is going to be some kind of this. Now, to our more newbie listeners, get to intermediate before you really try to do that, because you need to understand not all movements are alike.
Especially when you talk about like back, right?
Yeah.
Like back, that's when you're like, yeah, I can do a row. And it's like, what type of row? What part of the
Mm-hmm.
back you're hitting? Because that's a little bit more complicated.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just stay a student. At the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
stay a student, stay self-aware, and get after it, dog. So have fun. Life is too short.
Simple.
Life is
That's
way
simple.
too short. Don't take this shit. Don't take this stuff too seriously. Do not take it too seriously, man. And go out there and kill it. You got anything else for the people?
I don't got anything else. Don't switch your programming every week.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
That's 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 my lasting thing. And then other than that, like, comment, subscribe.
And so I guess we can talk about this some other time. But like changing variables to
Mhm.
begin with, like you have to change one at a time. So if you don't pull calories and then up volume and then up cardio, or decrease cardio, or
Mhm.
some just one lever at a time, and you can see
Unless
which is actually affecting you.
unless you don't believe that people are doing what they need to do, then you gotta do.
See what happens. Oh man, that's the trick that you taught me, man. It was like, oh yeah, oh word, oh you haven't gotten any results. All right, cool. Let's see what happens. Or they rather quit, or they gonna have to suffer for a little bit. Give them a burger at the end of it. They'll enjoy it. All right,
Come on, dude. You can't do that.
you be all right. You got 3 weeks. I have 15. All right. Anything else for the people?
Nah, that's it. Much love. Much
Until
love.
next time. Later.
Hey.